Module 1, Section 2, and in this video we're going to be doing Objective 6. Objective 6 says identify and apply associative property of addition. And again, I would put the in there, the associative property of addition. Okay, so before we look at those pairs, let me talk about the word itself. So associative property. If you are associating with something or someone, you're connecting to it, right? You're associating, you're finding what you have in common, you're communicating, whatever you want to talk, you're associating with somebody. Okay? So in math, because we're doing things all in a straight line, each number is associating with one other number at a time. Okay? So imagine, and this is kind of strange maybe, but here we go. Imagine your people, right? So you have 3 people, and the guy in the middle, you're in a straight line. These 2 people could talk together, which means this guy would have to face that way, but then this guy would be left out, right? So the middle guy could turn around, face this direction, and associate with this guy, and he'd be left out. So it depends on whether he's facing this way or this way, who the middle guy associates with, right? Okay. So using this kind of concept, we're going to look at these 2 pairs right there. And I'm going to rewrite them on top of each other down below so you can see a little bit better rather than comparing across your screen. Okay, and then the second one is 10 add 3 plus 5. Okay, you can see that the numbers are in order and they're both added, but the parentheses changed, right? So the 3, this is that middle guy that has to associate with one person at a time. So here he's associating with the 10 and the 5 is left out. Here he is associating with the 5 and the 10 is left out. Do we get the same answer? Let's find out. Okay, so what is 10 plus 3? 13. And 13 plus 5 is 18. And on the bottom, 3 plus 5 is 8. So 10 plus 8 is 18. We get the same answer. And you will get the same answer every single time. Okay, that's the associative property. Okay, it's associative property of addition. And again, there is not a subtraction associative property, but we're not going to get into that any more than just talking about the fact there isn't one, because you get a lot into negative numbers by doing that. Okay, let's take a look at the second row. And again, I'm going to rewrite it down here at the bottom so that you can see. So this one is going to be 7 plus 13 plus 5, and then add 6. And the second column is 7 plus 13 in parentheses, and 5 plus 6 in parentheses. So we're looking to see if, did they change the order? Nope. And it's add all the way across. So the only thing that changed is the parentheses. In this case, there are 4 numbers instead of just 3, but all that happened is the parentheses moved. Okay, so if we do the top problem, and we're going to go up like we did last time. Whoa, without erasing things would be good. Okay, so 13 plus 5 is 18. 7 plus 18 plus 6. Okay, that's kind of a mess. So 7 plus 18 is 25. 25 plus 6 is 31. Okay, now if we go on the bottom, parentheses first, this one is 20, and this one is 11. 20 plus 11, much easier, isn't it? 31. So they regrouped it in order to put the 7 and the 13 together because that was easy to add to get 20. and this last one here looks a little bit more complicated because they have parentheses and brackets. So those are the squared off ones. All right, so putting them on top of each other down here. So 10 plus bracket parenthesis, and the right hand side is 10 plus 2 plus 5 plus 4 is in parentheses this time. Okay, sorry that's so messy. Okay, tens are the same, adds are the same, so we're not even going to look at this part. Let's look inside the brackets, because those things changed a little bit, didn't they? Here the 5 is grouped with the 2, and here the 5 is grouped with the 4. So it's associating with a different number, but since it's add all the way across, and since none of the numbers changed orders, they are the same. Okay, and we haven't gotten into order of operations yet, so that's another section as well, but I'm going to hurry and do this to show you that they are equal. Okay, so that's 7 plus 4, and that's in the brackets. We have plus 10 on the outside. 7 plus 4 is next, so we get 11 plus 10 is 21. Now going down, do the parentheses first, and then the 2 comes down because we haven't used it. The 10 and the add come down because we haven't used them. Now brackets are next, so 11 plus 10 is 21. So 21, 21. Moving parentheses around and an add problem does not change your answer. That's what the associative property is. And here it is written in a sentence, in a formula, and there's an example. Okay? Sometimes the formulas get confusing because the variables don't look like math and whatever, but it just means it's a generic number. Anything will work. Okay? So whatever you have for A here, you're going to use the same A here. Whatever B is, you're going to use the same B, and whatever C is, you're going to use the same C. You're just going to move parentheses around. Okay, example 7, using the associative property, rewrite the statement. If not possible, write an A. Okay, now the box over there has the problem and the answer. That's my fault. I put the box around the whole thing instead. So, what they have done is move the parentheses, right? So here the parentheses are around the first 2. Here they're around the second 2. They stayed in the same order, and they're add. So that is the associative property. The bottom line is the answer. The top line is the original problem. Okay, on B, subtraction is not associative. And again, like I said, we're going to get into negatives, and I don't want to do that necessarily. Sometimes it's negatives, sometimes it isn't, but I don't want to get into that yet. So if it's subtract, just know there is not a subtraction associative property. Okay, so here we are on yours. Let's rewrite it using the associative property. So 54 is associating with the 29 for this one. So now we want to rewrite it connecting with the 78 instead. So parentheses here and here. And then the 29 is left out. Okay, and this one, it's subtract, so you automatically can write NA. You don't need the slash in the middle, by the way. You can just put NA. I'm not certain what lumens would say, though, so you might need the slash on lumens, but for your homework, I don't care one way or the other. Okay, example 8. Now we're mixing them up. We've learned the commutative property, the associative property, and the identity property of addition. And we want to see which one you're talking about. Okay, and I want to rewrite it down here at the bottom so we can line them up and down and see what's going on. Okay, so A, 23, add 57, and then add 80. And underneath it, 23 add parentheses, 57 add 80. And they said they were equal. Are they? Same order. Adds. All they did was change the parentheses, didn't they? So that means that is the associative property. Okay. Grouping symbols have changed. That's it. Okay, and B, do I even need to write it down here? Nope, because it's subtract. None of these properties apply if it's subtract. Okay, so this would be none. Besides, that's not even equal, is it? All right, let's get the answer to yours now. So 42 add 0 equals 42. Didn't change. We added a number that didn't change it. So this is going to be the identity property of addition. Okay, again, really messy. Holy cow. I'll slow down one of these days, I'm sorry. Okay, now the next one, you can see that all they did was change the order. Flip these around, 39 and 51, we get 51 and 39 like they have. So which one of those properties means you're changing order? That's the commutative property, right? So commutative property of addition. Commutative is fine because today it's going to be addition only. So we have an example there of every one of those. So we have a commutative, we have the associative, we have the identity, and we have none. For example 9, you need to write an example equation that shows the given property. So basically they're checking to see if you know what you're doing, so you can choose any numbers you want and create one of each of these. So go ahead and do it, pause the video, and then come back. Okay, so if you don't have the same numbers that I do, does that mean you're wrong? Absolutely not. Identity property of addition just means choose a number. I think I used 17 before. Let's use a different number. Add 0 to it, and you end up with what you started with. Or you could go the other way around. 0 plus any number is equal to that number. Okay. Commutative property is, let's say, 17 plus 9, and then reverse them. 9 plus 17. The associative property, we need to change the grouping symbols, right? So, parentheses, I'm just going to make this one easy. 1 plus 2, and then outside is 3. So now I'm going to move the parentheses around. 1's going to be outside, and 2 and 3 are going to be in the parentheses. You can use 1, 2, and 3 anytime. It doesn't matter. You don't have to use huge numbers. You just need to prove that you know what you're talking about. Okay, example 10. This looks like a mess, doesn't it? Okay, now this is where it gets kind of messy if it's horizontal. We've talked about that before. So if you want to write them up and down, you can. If we just want to compare side to side, we can. So let's just go ahead and leave it how it is, since I don't have much room on this page to begin with. All right, so looking at the first one, what did they change from one to the other? Okay, so we start with 30 and 30, 47, 47, 12, 12, 25, 25. Order didn't change. So it's not a commutative property. It's not a 0 anywhere, so it's not the additive identity either. So it's probably going to be the associative property, but let's check. See if they have been grouped differently using the parentheses. Okay, so in this first one we have 30 and 47, 12 and 25. Here we have 12 and 25. First it's grouped with 47 and 30 is left out. So here 30 and 47 are grouped together. So that one is the associative property. And if you can read their explanation, the order of the numbers has not changed. The way they are grouped has changed. This is the associative property. Okay, so let me write that really quickly. Okay, there's basically your three rules. So the commutative property is changing the order. Associative property is changing the grouping. The identity is just adding 0. Okay, so let's look at B now. Okay, so 30 is first, 30 is first. 47, whoop, that's not 47. 47 is over here. So they changed the order. So we know the order has changed, so it's the commutative property. Have the parentheses changed? You could have the commutative and the associative. So let's just double check to be certain. Okay, so in this first one we have 47 or 12 and 25. There we go. We're inside the parentheses. Sure enough. 30's on the outside, 30's on the outside. So that one's fine. Okay, C. Did the order change? Let's find out. 30, 30, 12, 12, 25, 25, 47, 47. So it's not the commutative property. So let's see how they're grouped. Okay. So 30 and the 30 are both out in the front by themselves. But now inside the brackets, we've got 12 and 25 together. And here we have 25 and 47 together. So the grouping has changed. So it's associative. Okay, on the last one here. So let's see, 30, 30, 12, 12, 25, 25, 47, 47. Order has not changed, so it's not commutative. So are they grouped differently? Here 30 is out by itself. Here it's grouped with the 12. So the grouping has changed, and it's the associative property. Okay? All right, so you're looking for changing the order, changing the grouping, or zeros. And if you notice, there are no zeros, so we're not even going to look at that one. So go ahead and try those 3 on your own and come back. Okay. So E. What changed? The order or the grouping? Here 24 and 91 are grouped together, and they're still grouped together. Here they're last, and here they're first. So they changed the order, didn't they? So this is the commutative property. Okay, and F. We have 24, 24, 91, 91, 38, 38. Order didn't change, so it's not commutative. Okay, here we have 24 and 91 in the parentheses. Here we have 91 and 38 in the parentheses. So the grouping changed. So that's the associative property. And the last one here, 24, 24, 91, 38. Oh, okay, so the order changed, didn't it? So the order changed is the commutative property. And that's the end of this objective, so we'll see you for the next one.